Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you've ever dreamed of moving to California, or even if you already live here, you've probably heard the same thing over and over again. California is expensive. Yeah, not really a newsflash, right? But how expensive is it really, and what exactly makes the cost of living so high? Well, today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the numbers, the lifestyle factors, and what you can do to make living in the Golden State a little bit more affordable. So whether you're looking to planning a move here or considering a career change or just curious about how the city stacks up, let's unpack the real cost of living in California. But first, as always, hey, thank you very much for tuning in. I make these videos to help you learn more about real estate market. That way you can make more informed decisions as a buyer, as a seller, or as somebody who is interested in real estate. So if you find these videos helpful, well, do me a favor, give the video a thumbs up. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss out on any future content. And calling a spade, it really does help the channel out. So thank you in advance. Now, let's start with the big picture here. California's overall cost of living is about 45% higher than the national average. Now that means if you're living comfortably on $60,000 a year somewhere else, well, you're gonna need roughly $87,000 to live the same way here. And the biggest reason for that? No surprise, it's the housing. In fact, California ranks first for housing costs. Now, according to Forbes, the median monthly housing cost in California is $2,111 per month. Not only that, but California also has among the highest cost per square foot. Now that means that $2,111 per month gets you less house than in other states. Now we can break it down even further as well. California ranks second among all states for the highest monthly mortgage payments at $4,442 per month. Hawaii is first at $5,004 per month. So there's really no getting around it. The West Coast housing costs are, well, it's steep. So according to Redfin, the median home price statewide is $840,200, but that story changes, well, dramatically on where you live. And we've spoken about this in a few prior videos. So for example, Los Angeles sits around $1,015,000 according to Redfin. San Diego is about $930,000. San Francisco is an eye-watering $1.483 million, while Sacramento is, well, it's a little bit more affordable at around $490,000. But here's the silver lining. Once you own property in California, well, your investment is, it's likely to grow. Home values here are among the highest in the nation and surpassed only by Hawaii and Washington, D.C. So if buying isn't in your cards yet, well, let's shift gears and talk about rent. Now, the average rent in California is around $1,956 per month. But again, like with before, it does vary on where you're at. Now, one bedroom in Los Angeles averages around $2,746 according to Redfin. Now, in Malibu, well, that jumps up to $3,895. Sacramento, well, you can get one for around $2,226, and it's cheaper in Fresno at $1,650 per month on average. But San Francisco, okay, well, it's much higher, $3,724. Now, of course, if you're willing to live outside major metro areas, well, housing dollars is going to stretch much farther. Utilities are, well, another big part of the California cost equation. Now, the average utility bill is about 38% higher than the national average. And now this breaks down to roughly about $148 for electricity, $63 for natural gas, and $76 for water each month. Now, while those numbers might not sound too bad, well, they're on the rise. The California Public Utilities Commission estimates that the monthly electricity and gas bills could hit $280 to $420 by 2030. The good news with that, well, California is pushing hard towards 100% clean electricity by 2045, and it's already more than halfway there. Let's talk about groceries. Okay, that's a big one right here. Well, here is a pleasant surprise. Grocery costs in California aren't as bad as you might expect. Now, the average California spends about $370 per month on groceries. Now compare that to the national average of $350. Well, thanks to the massive agricultural industry here, California doesn't even crack the top 10 most expensive states for food. So while housing may cost more, well, your grocery bill might be, well, relatively manageable. Now, let's talk about getting around. Transportation in California can get pricey fast, and I'm chuckling because I was just talking to somebody about gas prices here this morning. Okay, getting around, especially with gas prices, constantly well above the national average. And at this time of the recording, gas here averages around $4.68 per gallon compared to the $3.08 nationally, according to AAA. Now, overall, well, California spent about $6,597 per year on transportation, according to Forbes. Now, that ranks second to the U.S. behind both, you guessed it, Hawaii, which is $7,458 per year on average. But that doesn't mean you're out of luck. California actually has some solid public transportation options as well. In San Diego, a monthly transit pass runs about $72. Los Angeles offers a fare cap at $1.75 per ride. In San Francisco, well, the Clipper monthly pass is around $104. Still, most Californians rely on their own cars, which means factor in things like gas, maintenance, and insurance. And actually, on average, car insurance costs about $1,800 a year here. Again, we're well above the national average. Now, no conversation about the cost of living in California would be complete if we didn't talk about taxes. So California has a progressive income tax system, meaning, well, the more you earn, the higher your rate. Rates range from 1% to 12.3% depending upon your income. According to Smart Assets, the median household income here is around $95,521. Now, for individuals earning the median of about $49,600, that's roughly a 6% rate. On top of that, the statewide base for sales tax is 7.25%, and the average property tax rate sits at 0.71%, which is actually lower than most states. So while California income and sales tax are steep, property taxes are surprisingly reasonable in comparison. Now, healthcare, well, is another expense to factor in. Now, the average Californian spends about $480 per month on health insurance, though this can range wildly depending upon age, provider, and coverage. Now, for those that qualify, well, Medi-Cal and Covered California can make healthcare far more affordable, and the state is known for having excellent medical facilities, especially in urban areas. Now, with all of that said, let's get practical here. With prices this high, is it even possible to find affordable housing in California? Well, yeah, but it takes strategy. The most expensive areas are usually going to be along the coast. I mean, that shouldn't be much of a surprise to anybody. So if you're willing to move inland, think places like Sacramento, Bakersfield, or Fresno, you're going to find much lower prices without sacrificing too much quality of life. Now, of course, working with an experienced real estate agent who understands local markets can make a huge difference in finding a home that fits your budget. So why is California so pricey in the first place? Well, it really comes down to supply and demand, friends. People want to live here because of the weather, the opportunities, the coastline, and the lifestyle. But housing supply, it hasn't kept up. Zoning restrictions, limited land, and high construction costs all slow new development. Now, this imbalance drives prices up, and since most Californians, earn higher wages, the market supports the prices, which keeps, that cycle going over and over. So, is living in California worth the cost? Well, for many people, yeah, the answer is yes. Between the weather, the culture, and the job opportunities here, California still offers a lifestyle that is really hard to beat, but it's not going to be for everyone. If you're considering a move here, go in with a solid understanding of your budget, your priorities, and where you're willing to compromise, because while the cost of living in California is undeniably high, it's also a place of incredible opportunity and beauty. And with the right plan, you can, absolutely, you can make it work. All right, friends, and there you go. This was a fun video. Many of you have been asking about this video, and so I'm happy that we were able to push this out. If you found this video or this breakdown helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button down below. As I mentioned earlier, it really does help with the channel out. Subscribe for more real estate insights. Drop a comment down below with the city that you most like to live in here in California. If you happen to be looking to buy or sell here in California, I'm a real estate agent right here in Orange County, California. Feel free to give me a shout. I'd love to sit down and chat with you. And friends, I'm going to be shutting off the cameras. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.